Hi there and welcome along. My name is Paul Goff. I'm one of the UK's leading physios. Today I'm going to talk to you all about the hamstring injury that you've got. We're going to talk about what hamstring actually is, why it's a problem to you, not just from a pain point of view, but also from the restriction it's likely to be causing. And we'll also look at how physiotherapy can help. First, I'll introduce you to myself. That's me in my office here in Hartlepool. My previous job before working in this physiotherapy practice was with Darlington and Middlesbrough football clubs, and that's me more recently working with Manchester United footballer Paul Scholes at his recent soccer camp in Orlando, Florida in America. Hamstring injury is easily the number one most common injury in football, so as you can imagine, they are very familiar to me. The real problem with the hamstring, not just the pain that you get originally, it's this thing called scar tissue. I'm going to talk to you about this all the way through. I'm going to introduce you to why scar tissue is a problem. Think of this scar tissue as your body's way of healing. So it's like a glue or it's a cement. When you damage this hamstring, the body has to repair it, and usually after around 4 or 5 days this scar tissue starts to become a problem, and it can happen and it can end up that 4 to 6 weeks later you think that your hamstring injury is healed, but it's actually too tight, and it's because of this scar tissue. And it's the reason that you need to get access to physio, hands-on stretches, massages, things like that as quickly as possible. So first, let's confirm that you actually have a hamstring injury. You're likely to have felt an immediate sharp pain in the back of your thigh exactly, and that's usually what a person will do originally with a hamstring strain, is they'll clutch the back of their thigh, and that's usually where you'll get your hamstring pain, right about there. Maybe just above, maybe just below, but more often than not, it's right in the center of the muscle at the back of your thigh. One of the things that you'll feel, or likely to feel, particularly in the early few days, is this thing. It's a cramping or it's a biting type of pain. I can tell you my own experience of my hamstring strain, which happened to me about 2 years ago. Easily, without doubt, one of the most painful things that I've ever happened. Playing cricket, mid-sprint, hamstring tightened, felt this horrendous biting type pain in the back of my thigh, which was so bad that I was very lucky to be able to continue and actually stop without collapsing in a heap. But from that point on, I couldn't walk. I was limping around. I had to come into work. I was obviously still trying to do my job as a physio. Certainly couldn't do any form of running or cricket or football or anything like that because of this biting sort of cramping pain that was going on in the back. And one of the things that I found, this was a particular problem at night. I would go to sleep and I would fall asleep in a certain position, and then as you do, obviously you want to move around, and as soon as I did, every time I had to use my leg to sort of push me into the new position that I wanted to get into, subconsciously this hamstring would bite or it would cramp, and it was one of the most painful experiences, and it would probably keep me awake 3 or 4 times a night, particularly for the first 7 to 10 days of the injury. So the cramping and the biting type of pain that you get is definitely a problem of a hamstring, and it's one of the most common signs of a hamstring strain. And you're also likely to feel a sharp pain when you stretch. Now, the stretch doesn't have to be a typical hamstring stretch. It can be as you get out of bed on the morning, it can be as you get out of your car, for example, or you could even just be leaning forward to pick something up. You'll feel a sharp pain in the back of your leg. And one big thing with a hamstring strain that often surprises people is this thing called swelling and bruising. You may be able to look at the back of your leg and see something like this. Now, if you look at that image there where the bruising is on the back of the thigh, it's very likely that the hamstring strain actually took place quite high up. And now the reason that this bruising that you're looking at is tracking down the leg, we call it tracking, it's heading back down towards the knee and even towards the calf muscle below the knee, is because gravity will take the bruising and the bleeding and the swelling down the back of the leg. And that's one of the things that we need to get rid of as physios pretty quickly. So the hands-on physio that we do helps to get rid of all that as fast as possible. So what is it? Well, just think in the back of your hamstring, in the back of your thigh, you have 3 muscles, and it's just basically a tear in one of the muscles in the back of your leg. Don't worry too much about whether it's torn or strained. It doesn't make any difference. There's an option to have snapped it, which is very unlikely to have happened. But if you hear somebody say that you've torn or strained your hamstring, or they've torn or strained their hamstring, it just basically means that 1 or 2 fibres in the back of the leg have torn, and you've done it by stretching that muscle too far. As you've kicked the football, or if you've brought your leg through too quickly when you're sprinting, you've overstretched that muscle and it's torn the fibres. And now this is the way I explain it to a person that comes into my physio clinic. Think of an elastic band. If you pull an elastic band really tight, what will happen if you let go? It'll twang back. But what could happen is it could fray and it could snap. And that's the equivalent of what happens with a hamstring injury. As you kick that football, or as you sprint, or as you stretch the hamstring that little bit too far unexpectedly, those fibres are torn in the same way that the elastic band will fray or it will tear completely if it is pulled too tight. And then in an attempt to heal, your body puts down this scar tissue. This is that thing that I was talking to you about a little bit earlier. This scar tissue is the equivalent of glue or cement that your body has to have in an attempt to heal. Now, this will be going on in the first 4 or 5 days following the original injury. So you're following that first point where you felt it, you felt that sharp pain or that biting pain in the back of your leg. Within 4 or 5 days, this scar tissue begins to be put down in it, and it's great because you need it, because your muscle needs to be strong again. But as I say, what happens, unfortunately, this ends up really strong. You end up with a hamstring that's inflexible, it's too stiff and it's too tight, and it's the reason that a person may be lured into a little bit of false sense of security with a hamstring strain. You think that the muscle's healed because you're not in any pain. But when you go back to activity, you go back to your football, back to your cycling, or back to your stretching, your yoga, whatever it might be, and you feel that pain again, it's because this hamstring is now too stiff and too tight. And this is really common if you're watching this video and you're 4, 5, 6 weeks down the line and you've still got a problem, you're still inactive. It's because you've got too much scar tissue in that muscle. And again, it's the reason you need really good, deep hands-on physio. If you're at the start of your hamstring injury, it's the reason you need hands-on physio to avoid that problem happening to you. So while you're getting the pain and restriction, as we've said, the fibres are torn, so that's going to be painful straight away. The swelling wants you to be immobile, so you might put your hand on the back of the hamstring and you can feel that there's quite a lot of swell and there's quite a lot of fluid in the area, and that is there to keep you immobile. That's because the first 4 or 5 days are so important. 4 or 5 days, you need to rest. You need to just put ice on, do nothing other than put some ice on, and let that hamstring do what it needs to do for the first 4 or 5 days. Then is the time that you can begin your stretches, your physio, your hands-on stuff, probably even get back to walking, and you'll be surprised at how quickly you can get back on a bike or on a treadmill in a safe environment. And that's the key. We'll talk to you all about how quickly you can get back active, but you need to be able to do this safely. And you're also getting your restriction, like we said, because this heals wrong. It's often that there is too much scar tissue. If somebody tells you to rest a hamstring for more than 5 or 6 days, it's the wrong advice. You're not getting the right advice. You need to get this hamstring moving as quickly as possible, but the key word is safely. So how could we help you? Physio, like I've said, hamstring strains for us are one of the most common injuries that we see. We love to use our hands. We love to do deep massage. We love to get into this muscle. We massage it and we'll get rid of all of this fluid and this bruising as quickly as possible. And as soon as that happens, that's going to help you get back on with your healing as quickly as you can. So we're going to give you hands-on treatment. You'll get stretching from us as well. We'll give you a great explanation of what's actually happened, relevant to you. So if you're a bike rider, you like your yoga, you like football, we look at exactly how you've done this, and we look at, again, it's maybe not just as simple as a hamstring strain. It could be caused by something that's happened at your back. If you've got a really stiff, weak lower back area, muscles that don't work properly, it means you're more likely to have a hamstring strain. So we look at that, and we'll talk to you about things that you can do to prevent it happening again. And obviously we're going to give you exercises to do at home. Those are the 3 things that we offer you at this physio clinic. Hands-on treatment in the form of massage. We'll give you a great explanation of your injury, and we'll talk to you about exercises that you can be doing to help yourself at home. And one big thing, we'll tell you exactly when it is safe to return, and through that includes getting back on a treadmill, getting back active, getting back walking, getting back to your stretches. May not be the football or the bike riding to the level that you want to do it, but we'll gradually tell you how you can return to that sport. So come in as quickly as possible. For the reasons that I've just explained, scar tissue does become a problem. In brief, with a hamstring strain, you'll need about 3 to 4 sessions of physio from us, of the massage and the stretching that I've just explained. And it'll take about 3 to 4 weeks for you to get back safely to the sport or to the activity that you love to do. You need deep stretches, deep massage, and also great advice and great exercises from us, which we'll give you all the way throughout your session. Where are we? We're in Darlington, Durham, Gisborne and Hartlepool. That's our physio clinics here in the northeast. And that image you're looking at there is from our office in Hartlepool, and that's Vicky. She's one of our secretaries. She'll be the person who is likely to take your call if you call us and book your appointment. As I said, hamstring strains for us, incredibly common. And if it does turn out that physiotherapy can't help you, it's very unlikely that it won't be able to, but we'll give you a session free. And we offer that right across the clinic for anybody, any person that comes into our clinic. You'll never be charged for a physio session if it turns out that the injury that you visit us with isn't what we can help you with. To book, just call us. 0800 043 8671 is the number that you need. And if you wanted to speak to one of our physios first before you actually book that session, just to 110% confirm that we can help you, even just to get some advice to help yourself in the next few days, feel free to do that. It's no problem. 0800 043 8671. So physiotherapy can definitely help you with this injury. We're going to give you hands-on treatment. We'll give you a great explanation of your injury and look at exactly why it's happened. Like I say, if you've got a problem with your back or you sit for long periods, your hamstring tightens. Your hamstring, that makes you from that point on more susceptible to this type of injury happening again, and we can help you stop that. We'll give you exercises for you to do at home to help your recovery, and we'll also tell you exactly when it's safe to return. You want to get back onto the football field, back into the bike, back to walking, back to yoga, back to swimming. with this injury, we'll tell you exactly when it's safe for you to do so. So please give us a call, 0800 043 8671. I hope this helps. Take care. Look forward to speaking to you again soon.